Hello students, welcome to the series on international business. I am Professor Shoma Sengupta, Kamla Nehru College, University of Delhi. The first chapter or first unit that we are going to discuss today is Introduction to International Business Part 1. In this lecture, we will cover the topics concept of international business, features of international business, reasons for international business, and distinction between domestic and international business. Now, if we see the global trend, we witness a tremendous amount of international business going on. The reasons behind that is rapid and sustained growth of international business. Markets have become global for many products and services. So you can see different brands in your own country, multinationals entering our country, and actually in an entire day we are using lots of international products. We have a cosmopolitan kind of culture, and global companies consider entire world as their production base and as a single market. There is a free movement of factors of production from one country to another. Beside that, extensive global flows of trade, investment and technology is taking place, and these flows ensure that the national economies are tied together. International events are exercising greater impact on the economy of a country. All this has led to development of international business. Now, what is international business? You are well aware of trade, and that is that internal trade and external trade, which you must have studied in your school. Now, when we talk about trade, that is basic buying and selling of goods, and when it is internal trade, it happens within the boundaries of a country. But when we talk about external trade, it happens beyond the boundaries of the country, between two or more countries. Now, trade is very basic because we are only talking about the buying and selling of goods and services. But when we talk about international business, it is a very broad concept, and it refers to any business activity which involves the transfer of resources, goods, services, knowledge, skills or information across national boundaries with a view to satisfy the needs of individuals, organizations and governments. So, this is a very broad definition, and where we can see that international business is not confined to transfer of goods and services. It goes beyond that, and it also includes transfer of knowledge, skills, information and even people across national boundaries. And here it can happen not only between organization and individuals or individuals and individuals, but also between government and individual organization or other governments. So, any combination is possible. So, individuals selling or doing any kind of international business activity with other individuals in other country or organizations in other country or governments in other country. Likewise, organization to all these three parties and government to all these three parties. The activities may pertain to the production of physical goods or to the provision of services such as banking, finance, insurance, education. So, this was a little primitive portion, like we are talking only about goods and services, but now it goes beyond goods and services as I have defined in the first definition. Now, on the basis of these definitions, we can talk about the features of international business. The first feature is it happens across national boundaries. So, obviously, it involves trading or doing any kind of international business activity between the organizations or people or government located in two or more countries. Then it has a vast scope. Like we talked about transfer of goods and services, but nowadays we are talking also about transfer of knowledge, skills, information and people across different countries. So, it has a very vast scope. Now, it is carried out by individuals, organizations and governments, as I have discussed in the definition that individual to individual or individual to organization or organization to organization or organization to individual or government or government to any of these three parties may be the members who are dealing in international business, and but the only requirement is the two parties are located in two different countries. The purpose is to satisfy again the needs of customers who may be as we have discussed that it may happen between these three parties with another three parties. So, basically it is to satisfy the customers who may be individuals, organizations and government. Now, you may say ask me like organization to organization or organization to individual is very common. When an organization sells, like Pepsi is selling its products in India. So, we can say that this is very common, but it may happen between governments and governments also. Government purchases different commodities from other governments or other organizations. Governments also give aids to other governments. So, government is also a part of international business. Then the next feature is it may have profit motive or service motive. Generally, we think that international business happens to with a profit motive. Obviously, every organization would like to earn more and more profit by going global or internationalization. But sometimes it has service motive also. You know that many of the NGOs are operating in other countries, and that is with service motive. The government giving aids to those governments in other countries which require that aid for their sustenance, that is again a service motive. Forms may be international trade, that is based in home country, or foreign direct investment, that is establishing entity abroad. And in foreign direct investment also lots of variety is are there, like it may be greenfield investment or brownfield investment, which we will discuss later on. Now, it means that it may be as simple as transferring your excess amount of production from your home country to any organization located in any other country or customers located in any other country. So, you are just selling your excess in other countries, and it is the first stage of the continuum, and it may go beyond that, and the final stage is where the organization is setting up its own establishment or in subsidiary in other countries. So, the forms of international trade may be varied. Then the result of all this or outcome of international business is the establishment of multinational corporations and transnational corporations. There is a fine line of difference between these two, multinational corporation and transnational corporations. We can say that when we talk about multinational corporation, the head office is located in the home country, and in the host country the units are there, but for every major decision they have to contact the head office. But when we talk about transnational corporation, more flexibility is there, and the decision making power is bestowed on the subsidiaries as well. Then another feature is massive scale. The international business is happening in it's a multi-trillion dollar business, and it is happening between all the countries all over the world. So, it is happening at a very massive scale, and as we have discussed that it can be trading of or transfer of goods, services, or even your information, technology, people, tourism, everything comes under international business. Another feature is that it has an influence over economic, social, political environment throughout the world. Now, international business is also maintaining a fine balance between the countries and the economies. And if with which country we are trading, it has an impact on our own economy, on our own social structure, and the trading also depends upon the political environment, that is the relation between the two countries which are participating in international business. Recently, we have seen the Ukraine-Russian war crisis and how it is getting solved right now, and the scope of international business in the form of signing of different treaties that is happening between US and Ukraine, so that a peace movement, on the one hand the peace movement could start, and on the other the trading of different materials could happen between US and Ukraine in good terms. Now, if we talk about another feature, that which one is a broader concept, then we will find that the international business encompasses all international marketing and international trade. So, international business is greater in scope in comparison to international marketing, because as we have seen in the definition of international business, it includes transfer of almost everything between the different organizations in different countries. But when we talk about international marketing, it is confined to marketing of a specific product or service by identifying the needs in other countries and accordingly providing the goods or services in that country. When we talk about international trade, it is all the more narrower in concept, in the sense that it is only trading in goods and services, transfer of goods and services, and it includes only export and import. So, we find that international business is a wider term, and it covers international marketing and international trade. Then international trade or international business happens because of a very specific point or very specific reason, and that is geographic specialization and cost effectiveness. Now, Mother Earth has not bestowed every country with equal amount of resources. So, we find that in some country they have a specialization, geographic specialization in production of a particular commodity in a very cost effective manner, or they have some locational advantage and they use that advantage to produce more of a particular commodity and do trading with other countries. So, this is an important point, otherwise the requirement of international business would have been minimal. But since geographic specialization is there, and because of geographic specialization, certain commodities could be produced in the most cost effective manner in certain countries, that trading is happening. Like in India, we have an advantage in producing various commodities like rice, or Bangladesh in jute. In India, of course, we are also producing lots of gems, jewelry. In certain countries, minerals are there. So, they have a geographic advantage, and because also cheap labor may be one of the factor of production, which may be a factor because of which international trading is taking place. So, we will discuss all these points in my next slides, coming slides. Now, we move on to the other feature, that international transactions may be in the form of international trade, international investment, joint ventures and strategic alliances. And the strategic alliances and joint ventures are contractual. So, these are different modes of international business, which we will discuss in detail later on. Now, what are the reasons for international business? This may be classified into two factors, and that is pull factor or push factor. Now, pull factors are the forces of attraction that pull the business to the foreign market. Firms are motivated to internationalize because of the attractiveness of the foreign market. Such attractiveness includes the relative profitability and growth prospects, and most of the time pull factors are in fact forcing the companies to go global. Now, this is a kind of a proactive factor or proactive action. Then there are push factors. These factors are the compulsions of the domestic market, like the saturation of the market, which prompt companies to internationalize. They are reactive causes. So, if we see the reasons and classify them, there are different pull factors which we are, and push factors which we are going to discuss in detail in the coming slides. So, pull factors may be growth, profitability, economies of scale, and many other risks, spreading of the risk, and also economic integration, formation of WTO, all this has are the reasons because of which international business has multiplied. The push factors are, as we have discussed in the previous slide also, that saturation is happening in many of the product lines in the domestic industry, and that's why they are moving global. And also there are government policies and requirements, or the quality improvement is happening, or there is a competitive cause or monopoly cause. All these are the push factors which are pushing an organization to go global. So, we will discuss them in detail in the coming slides. So, when we talk about the pull factors, the most prominent one is the higher profitability. The price difference among the market and the product may be sold abroad at a higher price than in the domestic market. So, we find that if we are selling the product in the domestic market, we are getting a very less price, but when we are selling it in overseas market, we are getting higher prices, and that is why the people are the companies are sending their goods outside the country. Also, another thing is reduction of cost. The goods are produced in countries where the labor or raw materials are cheaper. Example, garments manufactured in India and Bangladesh are sold in US stores, because in India and Bangladesh we have the advantage of cheap labor. Then all this leads to profit advantage, that is you are getting higher prices and lower cost in foreign countries. International operations leads to increase in total profit of the firm. It also increases profitability of domestic firm by providing economies of scale. Better growth opportunities. MNCs from developed countries set up businesses in developing countries like India. It is a huge market for their product with increasing income and population, and also it is a source of cheap labor. So, for these reasons the companies are exploring the developing countries, and they cannot ignore a huge market like India and China. Foreign markets offer growth opportunities for firms in developing countries. For example, Infosys has operations in many countries. So, our companies are also going global because of this factor. Then another is economies of scale. You know that large scale production, if it takes place, then the per unit cost of production will go on decreasing up to a certain level. So, large scale production capacities necessitates domestic companies to dispose of their goods in international markets once the domestic markets become saturated. One of the basic reasons behind the internationalization of Great Britain during the Industrial Revolution was domestic market saturation. With technological advances, the optimum scale of operations has increased. Large volumes of production to meet international markets will give the scale of economies in production. For example, Xiaomi has shipped over 250 million smartphones to India since 2014. So, although we find that many a times we say that we will shun the Chinese products whenever the reasons or the relationships go sour between the countries, but we cannot ignore the products which are shipped from China to India. So, and in China for China also, India is a huge market. So, they cannot also ignore India as a market. Nations encourage industries to build large facilities so as to take the advantage of large scale production and economies of scale. Another reason is the risk spread. A business operating in domestic market is highly vulnerable to economic upheavals in the home market, because you are depending only on one country, and if anything goes wrong in your home country, then the business may fail totally. So, overseas markets provide an opportunity to lessen their dependence on one market and spread the market risk. So, rather than putting all the eggs in one basket, you can spread the risk by operating in other countries. Economic integration and high market is another factor or another reason. The growth of liberalization is opening free markets. There is a movement of goods and services from country to country. Companies look for better growth opportunities in free markets. For example, German chemical companies going international from Germany Local consumption in Germany is too small, and because of that they are sending goods in other countries. Also with the rise of economic European Union or EU, that is one good example of economic integration also, and or forming of a economic bloc, and because of also that also the international business multiplied. Access to imported inputs. The national trade policies of countries provide several incentive schemes which provide duty exemption or remission on the import of inputs for export productions, such as advanced licensing, duty drawbacks, duty exemption, export promotion, and capital goods schemes. And this is also a reason behind international business. It helps the companies in accessing imported inputs and technical know-how to boost their operations and increase their competitiveness. Another pull factor is unifying effect and peace. Two-way business helps development activities and economic growth. The business develops long-lasting relationships of trust and a feel-good factor leading to peace among nations. Emergence of WTO or World Trade Organization. Several friendly and neighboring countries enter into trade agreements to develop trade. The World Trade Organization WTO replaced GATT, that is General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade, in 1994. WTO at present has 166 members and it helps to develop multilateral trade. So, with the rise of WTO, international business became more popular, it has gained momentum, and WTO not only ensures that tariff and non-tariff barriers between the countries should lessen, but also it ensures smoother movement of goods and services from one country to another. Saturation of domestic market and declining product line. Now, these are the push factors. Now, one of the prominent one is that in your domestic market, you might not be doing that well, or there is a declining product life cycle. Each market shows a different stage of life cycle for different products, which varies widely across country markets. When a product or service gets saturated in the domestic or international market, a firm may make use of such challenges and convert them into marketing opportunities by operating in international markets. Companies also internationalize when the domestic market is too small. Like Nestle's sales revenue in Switzerland is minuscule. So, because of that, they are operating in so many other countries from which they are gaining more sales revenue. Strategies to launch new product in the existing market or identify fresh market or for existing products may be adopted. Second push factor is government policies and regulations. Now, government policies and regulations may also motivate internationalization. They may have both positive and negative impact or factors that could drive internationalization. Many governments provide incentives and positive support to domestic companies for exporting and investing in foreign countries. Now, in India, before 1991, the policies were more inward looking. That means we were protecting the domestic industry and not promoting free movement of goods from other countries to our country. But with liberalization and globalization, those restrictions were removed, and now we have FDI investment also in many sectors, and that too 100%. Similarly, several countries prioritize import development and foreign investment. So, this is more inward looking policy of import development. Then growing competition. The economic liberalization ushered in India since 1991, which has increased competition from foreign firms as well as from those within the country. Now, foreign companies are entering in every sector. Take the example of cola market. Pepsi and Coke is dominating Indian markets, and all those Indian brands, they have vanished from the scene, especially Campa Cola or Campa Cola and Campa Orange and the whole organization Campa. Many of the Indian brands were taken over by these giants, cola giants. Many Indian organizations are now systematically planning to go international in significant way. In India, removal of entry barriers and replacement of Foreign Exchange Regulation Act (FARA) with the much softer Foreign Exchange Management Act (FEMA) paved way for the entry of foreign multinational corporations like Coca-Cola and PepsiCo. Then another factor is counter competition, and this is very offensive competitive strategy of internationalization. That means you are trying to remain one step ahead of your competitors, penetrating the potential competitors' home country to reduce a competitive strength, to protect the domestic market share from foreign competitor. For example, IBM, a US multinational corporation, moved early into the Japanese market and created a strong position for itself in Japan. Monopoly power. Firms enjoy monopoly power or dominant position, internationalize to take advantage of their exclusive power and position. For example, PepsiCo. Dominant position may be in terms of technology, patent, unique selling proposition and product differentiation. Exclusive market information in terms of knowledge about foreign customers and markets acquired through research and contacts. Monopoly power provides initial advantage to the firm, but is difficult to sustain in the long run as competition increases. Another factor is quality improvement. Larger markets are and improved margins help big investments in quality improvement. These include better equipment training and adopting quality methods. Quality improvement gives larger markets, and again the cycle continues. So, rest we will do in our next lecture. Thank you so much.